Hello everybody, I am Buzz, and what you're seeing is nothing short of a classic. It's Pac-Man World 2 for the PlayStation 2, released in the year 2002. Law of Twos here. By Namco, this game is very near and dear to my childhood. It released on the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, the GameCube, and then afterwards it was released for the Game Boy Advanced, and then finally, the PC. We are only going to be focusing on the console versions, most notably the PlayStation 2 version, and a little bit of the GameCube version. So why am I doing a video like this on Pac-Man World 2 of all things? Because there is one version that was extremely different from the other versions, and that is the Japanese PlayStation 2 version. Released right around the same time as the United States version, if I can recall. I'll throw up the release dates on the screen because I know I'm not right. Pac-Man World 2 was released in Japan as a PlayStation 2 exclusive. The game did not release at all in Japan on the GameCube, and it didn't release on the Xbox either, because there is no Xbox in Japan, because who bought an Xbox in Japan? But despite being just a normal Japanese version of a video game, this version actually has some pretty big changes from the United States version. If I recall, the PAL version, the Europe version, is identical to the United States version, so that will be thrown in as just the United States version. I'm not going to run around and say NTSC this, PAL this, NTSC, PAL this. They're both the same game, as far to my knowledge. So I'm like, why not make a video about the Japanese version? Now, how did I get the Japanese version? Well, it's abandonware, so yeah, you can probably take a guess of what I did. So we're gonna go over technical differences, gameplay differences, so we just gotta get into the game and get a feel for how it plays. So let's go. First off, on the title screen it's mostly the same except for the logo and the text. The font is completely different on the bottom, and this will stick true for the rest of the game. And the logo is, I don't know, it looks like a poorly done outline job in Photoshop. Just saying. Alright, now on to the general gameplay differences. First off, as standard Japanese games, the circle and X buttons are flipped. Oh no. I'm fucked. Oh, thank God it's just the menus. Alright, first off, I notice is that Pac-Man's shadow is completely dark in the Japanese release. It's transparent in the United States version. I guess it makes it easier to see a shadow for when you need to platform, since this was before dynamic and directional shadows existed, but in my opinion, it just looks completely uncanny because everything else keeps its transparent shadow, while only Pac-Man has this pitch black circle underneath him, so I don't really see what they were going with here. And I'm not sure if I'm just remembering incorrectly, but I think Pac-Man jumps noticeably higher in the Japan version than the United States version. Do you guys see a difference at all, or is my mind just playing tricks on me? And finally, when you get hit by a ghost, you take a slice of health. So it seems the Japanese version is based off of the Greatest Hits version. I'll talk about that version a little later. So let's just go through from level to level, from Pak Village all the way to the end game Spooky. So, Pak Village. The only change I really noticed is that in Pak Village is that Grandpa Pak says pretty much nothing to you. He's only got one text box. In the US version, he's got this much. Alright, on to the next level. But before then, I have another difference to note is that the HUD, the font is different, so I guess all of the text that is in English is different, because this game has some Japanese, some English, some Japanese, some English. It's one of those games. The bare basics. There's really nothing here except this. Why would they not allow you to get damaged by these thorns to get this token? Do they think Japanese people are fucking stupid or something? Canyon Chaos. Alright, here is where some changes get really big. First off, the bombless pits are gone. They're filled in. Why? I don't know, so let's move on. And I also found out that in here that thorns don't damage you at all. Right. And here, the big bear in the center of this platform is a small pack cub now. Oh boy, this is going to be my easiest playthrough this game, is it? I also noticed that you can press this L2 button to bring this red ring up around you. The fuck? Is this a debug release? Alright, enough of those, let's go to Pac-Man. Nothing changed here except the bombless pits at the end of the level are still filled in. Alright, Blinky's frog. Alright, I actually noticed that the text boxes are actually voiced in the Japanese release. Pretty neat, huh? Well, why didn't the United States version get voiced, considering that was a better version of the game from first impressions? Plus, Blinky only takes 3 hits now before giving up instead of the normal 5 to 6 that he takes in the United States version. Alright, Be-Doing Woods. The roach on top of this tree that's next to this chest is gone. That's the only change I noticed in this level. Treewood Forest. There's only one saw blade on every single platform and they move a lot slower. By a lot, I mean it's pretty noticeable. There's this one token here that you need to rev roll to grab. It was turned into a life, I guess, because apparently Japanese people can't take a risk in video games or something. I don't know, all these changes seem pretty bizarre to me. Alright, Butan Pain. This first tree where you rev roll over, like around the tree, is bent for you, so you can just roll straight through. In the US version, you have to roll around it, but sometimes, even when I did the US version, I didn't have to roll around at all, I could've just gone straight, so the bent tree just seems like a pointless thing. And here is a metal power-up. It's right next to these flames, so you don't have to shimmy around the tree to get it and then shimmy back. Man, if there's one change I wish they made for the US version, it's this one right here, because this part is just annoying and slow. And we are finished with Butan Pain. All in all, some pretty weird changes so far, but we still got like a majority of the game left, so let's go. Inky. Nets are all over the place, so it's impossible to fall off the edge anymore. Wow. Also, his entire second moveset is completely removed in the Japanese release. In the US release, on the second phase after the first row of text boxes, you can no longer just rev roll into him to kill him. The only difference I noticed in Ice River Run is that at the end of the level, the big pack bear is missing. And I had like a weird effect where I thought there was more platforms to jump on around, but in reality, it's the same. In Avalanche Alley, the snowball moves a lot slower in this version. Like he's not up on your ass anymore, so you have a little bit of leeway. And this guy right here on this ramp, he doesn't attempt to blow you off anymore. He's just sitting there doing... And that's about it for Avalanche Alley. It's much easier, to be honest. And then we have Blade Mountain. The only difference I noticed here is that there's a pack trail at the end, making the ramp completely pointless. I don't know why. For Pinky's Revenge, it's the same as Inky, all the pits are filled up so you can't really die anymore. I also noticed that every time she needs to talk, the music resets, so you can't even listen to all of the music, because after every hit, the music resets. Alright, next level, into the Volcano. Nothing major here, just a couple platform changes here and there. These platforms fall like very, very slowly, I don't know why. This green flower girl is shooting blue pukas. As I write this, she shoots me straight off the screen and kills me. This is only in the US version. The flower is not there at all in the Japan version. And oh, nothing major my ass. The level just completely ends early. In the US version, this area is a room, and then this is the end of the stage. Well, I guess we can just delete one room because Japanese people can't platform a little bit. I'll F4 that room. Volcanic Panic. There's an additional platform right here before this rev roll platform instead of a ramp. I don't know why. This part after that is like 100% different. There's no need to like rev roll or anything. You just platform along. Right here, this rev roll ramp is just implemented so poorly, it barely works. I had to try about 3 times. And after the shimmy part that has less obstacles as well than the US version, the level just ends. No need to backtrack. sort of a welcome change because this part kind of sucks, but it cuts off the end of the level, so that kind of sucks as well. So I guess there's really no winning in the end. Magma Ops. This part right here is just a fucking joke. I mean, like, really, just look at the difference. This part is different because they give you a metal pellet instead of a life, removing any challenge that this part had beforehand. Well, at least this level ends normally where it's supposed to. Alright, then we got Clyde. I remember this level being a freaking nightmare when I was a fucking little shit. Alright, so a lot of changes were made here. 1, his aim sucks. 2, they checkpoint you after you hit him. 3, the flames from his fireball don't stay on the ground anymore. 4, he shoots a lot less. 5, all challenges now down the drain, and the hardest level was turned into one of the easiest fights ever. Hell, I took more damage on Pinky instead. Alright, Scuba Dooba. Nothing's changed here. Surprising. Okay, Shark Attack. Nothing's changed here either. Okay, then Yellow Pack Marine. It's the same as the US version. Same boring level. I just want to say that this level is by far the worst fucking level in this game. It's so boring. So after this level, I noticed something strange. Every single level after Clyde has no changes at all, which is strange, to say the least. I was playing every single level like normal and was expecting something to change, but no changes at all. Every single level after Clyde seems identical to the United States versions. The sub-boss and Spooky don't have any additional checkpoints, they don't have any adjustments to be made easier or anything. So I'm wondering why they even made all these changes in the first place. Anyways, I don't know. I guess that's really it for Pac-Man World 2 Japanese version. The changes it's made, personally in my opinion, made the game a lot more easier and just worse. Yeah, it's Pac-Man World 2 still, but it's just Baby Mode Edition. It's so easy. This is my easiest Pac-Man World 2 playthrough I've ever done in my entire life. However, there's one more release that I have to play, and that is the Greatest Hits Revision. The Greatest Hits Revision, also known as the GameCube, Xbox, and PC versions, also known as a Pack Trilogy Pack thing for the PS2 that I had as a kid. Every single revision after the original PlayStation 2 version saw changes. What changes did they make? Well, let's take a look. I'm gonna dub the normal version as 1.0 and the greatest hits as 2.0. So the things I also noticed in 1.0 is that the ghost instantly killed Pac-Man upon contact. In 2.0, just like the Japanese version, he takes a hit instead. And another thing I also noticed is that saves are cross-compatible, so it's not like the GTA trilogy where your saves break. Saves made with version 1.0 will load on 2.0. All the changes will be there too. So I'm only just gonna talk about the levels I noticed changes. I played all the way up to Clyde. I didn't see a point in playing after that, probably due to the fact that the Japanese version also had no changes, so I played all the way up to Clyde on version 1.0. Alright, Canyon Chaos. These colored enemies, I noticed they take 2 hits to kill instead of 1. Now, I'm just gonna take a note that I never played the 1.0 version as a kid. I always had the Greatest Hits revision, so all these changes are pretty new to me. The next level, which is Blinky's Killer Frog, we're skipping past Pac-Pain, but Blinky's Killer Frog was renamed into Blinky's Frog. I don't know why. In this fight, Blinky's tongue moves a lot quicker, making it harder to hit in 1.0. And when the first text box comes up, when his tongue turns to steel, Pac-Man doesn't give you any hints on how to damage him after that. It just skips and makes you figure it out on your own. In Be Doing Woods, the net at the beginning of the level is missing, making it a bombless pit in version 1.0. So yeah, adding this pit, adding the nets, I don't know why. It made the first cherry a joke, just saying. There's some jump pads to send you in a circle before they land you on the blue Be Doing. I don't know why they did this, it just moves in a circle. In 1.0, you don't take a bounce pad and some bee-doings to the next trees. You take a hike down the tree and then take a red bee-doing path. Which one do you guys prefer? I personally prefer the 1.0 version. It seems a bit more natural and it seems easier than the 2.0 version. For a re-release that's made to make the game easier, I don't know why they changed it. And Ice River Run. The thing is, I noticed here, is as soon as you land on the ice, you slip. In 2.0, you won't slip as long as you don't butt bounce onto the ice, which actually makes the level a lot more difficult. It's no wonder why they changed it at all. And then in Avalanche Alley, we have this section. Fuck this section. Fuck this fucking stupid section. You can't run on the ice at all, and when Pac-Man slips like a fucking jackass, you can't control yourself. So what you do, you die. It's no wonder they set a checkpoint right here. Alright, next level, Blade Mountain. In 1.0, there's no intro sequence with Adventurer Pack. It just starts the level. The developers really didn't want to tell you how to use the ice skates. Not that it matters much because the ice skates aren't that different from Pac-Man's normal controls. And then Pinky. There's nothing I noticed here except I died a lot more because I got used to the Japanese version just ramming. But that's not how it works. Anyways, after that, I noticed almost no changes at all from 1.0 to 2.0. I stopped at Clyde again, like I said, because the Japanese release... Like the Japanese release, I just ran into mostly the same stuff. At this point of the game, it seems like most of the changes were in the first half of the game. So if you want a harder version of Pac-Man World 2, then I totally recommend the 1.0 version. Although it is exclusive to the PlayStation 2, and since it was the only first print of the game, it's pretty difficult to find. Personally, I downloaded it from the internet because 1, I own like 3 copies of this game, 2 of them for the PlayStation 2 and 1 for the GameCube, so I think I'm allowed to download it. 2, it's abandonware, so who cares? 3, come on Namco, just release the game on Steam. Hell, remaster it. You do the entire gaming community a favor by just remastering the trilogy insane and reignited style. All in all, Pac-Man World 2 is a classic, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. And I really wish they made a Pac-Man World 4 instead of the garbage we get now, aka Pac-Man pandering to classic games more than Sonic does. So I totally recommend the 2.0 USA version of Pac-Man World 2. It's the most balanced version, it's the most widely available version, although it's up to you to get the version that you play. Most of the people, however, would probably download it these days because, again, the game's 18 years old, but more power to you if you play on original hardware. You're an OG, and I celebrate you for that. So it's time to pretty much end this video, however, I got one little tiny bonus for you. Let's compare the PlayStation 2 and GameCube versions, since those two are the versions that I own, and those two are the versions that I can emulate on my computer because the PC version isn't playable due to Starburst DRM, which prevents it from running on Windows 10 without playing with the crack that I shared a long time ago back in 2016. I didn't make the crack. I shared it, I did not make the crack. CC, people think that I cracked Pac-Man World 2 on PC. I didn't. I found a crack on some site like fucking TUS Files or some shit like that, and I just made a video about it and mirrored it, sadly, without permission or credit. Yeah, it was a crappy thing to do, but I was like 15 at the time, so I didn't know shit. But my archive is the only existing mirror of it on the internet, so I think I did everyone a favor, even knowing it was on bad intentions. I really wish I went back and credited the guy, but I was 15 and I didn't know anything. I've tried months. Writing the script, I spent like 2 hours trying to find the source of where I found it. It's somewhere on like ISOZone, File Firms, TUS Files. I don't fucking know. I remember like some Star Trek guy as his avatar or something. He said something about like testing it on a Radeon graphics card, I think. Something like that. I don't know. I really don't know, but I think that's where I found it. That's all. He linked it, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, let's just compare the PS2 and GameCube versions and get this whole video over with and pretend that awful PC port didn't even happen. Alright, so the GameCube version, it's based off version 2.0, not 1.0, so every single change that was made in 2.0 applies to every single GameCube version. This version was not reprinted with these changes, it's just how the GameCube version was released in the first place. And the graphics on the GameCube version don't look different except for the fact that the GameCube version looks a lot sharper. Even in an emulator when you upscale it. I think it's because GameCube games are progressive scan instead of interlaced like the PS2. And another thing I noticed is that the GameCube version has no motion blur. Can you see the motion blur on the PS2 version? Because that's one of the first things that I noticed. Also, on the GameCube version, the rev roll sound is different. It's much lower pitched. Can you hear the difference at all? And when you pause on the GameCube version, the music continues playing. Why? When I pause the game, I just want it to be quiet. And then on the Safe Select screen, the main menu music will play instead of it being silent, so it seems like the GameCube version really likes to play its music. Not gonna lie, the soundtrack's pretty lit in my opinion. But anyway, that's pretty much it for Pac-Man World 2. I don't have the Xbox version on my hands at all, there's no way to emulate it, I don't have a copy of it. So I couldn't test that version. I do have the PC version, and there's not much changes from it except for the fact that it's a bad port. It has graphic issues. I don't even think I have it anymore to test it because I downloaded it and I deleted it because it's a crap port. But anyways, that's pretty much it for Pac-Man World 2. All in all, a great fucking ass game. I recommend all of you guys to go and play it, regardless of where you get it from. Because personally, I don't care. I'm still going to continue playing this game. I'm going to keep my original copies. I'm going to play it in emulators and stuff. I'm just going to play the game in the best way I see fit, which is the GameCube version, at 4K and Dolphin. So that's pretty much it for this video. How do I end this video? I don't know. Play Pac-Man World 2, I guess. Bye.